9 out of 10 people who start this journey will fail, not because they're lazy, not because they didn't train hard enough, but because the Navy SEAL pipeline is built to expose the exact moment where your will, your body, and your identity stop lining up. Most people break there, and even if you make it through, even if you earn the Trident and deploy for real, the ladder keeps going. Higher, narrower, meaner, all the way to a unit most people only know by rumour. Level 1, the candidate. You walk into a recruiter's office and say you want to be a Navy SEAL. Maybe it's patriotism. Maybe it's ego. Maybe you watched too many movies and decided ordinary life wasn't enough. The recruiter doesn't care why you want it. He wants to know whether you can survive long enough to matter. The minimum requirements are easy to say out loud. High school diploma, strong ASVAB score, pass the physical screening test. But minimums mean nothing here. Minimums get you ignored. To be competitive, you need a fast swim, strong calisthenics, and a run time that proves you're already ahead of the pack before real suffering even starts. If your numbers aren't good enough, you're not going to BUD/S. You're going to spend your Navy career somewhere much more ordinary. So you train. Pool at sunrise, runs after dark, push-ups until your shoulders shake, breath hold drills, fin work, cold water. The first lesson arrives before you ever touch the pipeline. Wanting this means nothing. Performance is the only language anybody here respects. You pass. That earns you a shot, not a future. They send you to Naval Special Warfare Preparatory School in San Diego. This isn't the real thing yet. It's the narrowing hallway before the real thing. More swimming, more running, more screening, more quiet attrition. Some men wash out here and never even make it to BUD/S. But you do. Level 2, BUD/S trainee. Basic underwater demolition/SEAL training is where fantasy goes to die. 24 weeks of pain, sleep deprivation, cold exposure, and public failure. The instructors don't care how motivated you are. Motivation is cheap. Everyone shows up motivated. Their job is to find out what's left when motivation burns off, and all that remains is discomfort, humiliation, and the growing suspicion that you are not who you thought you were. The bell sits in the courtyard like an invitation. Ring it 3 times and the pain stops. No speeches, no shame. Just relief. Hundreds have quit that way. Hundreds more will. Then comes Hell Week. 5.5 days, 4 total hours of sleep, boats on your head, sand in your mouth, salt water in your lungs. You shiver until shivering becomes normal, then push past normal into something colder and stranger. You hallucinate. You lose track of time. You stop thinking in days and start thinking in moments. Get to the next evolution. Get to the next command. Get to the next 5 minutes. That's what Hell Week really measures. Not whether you're strong. Plenty of strong men quit. It measures whether you can still function when your body is sending every possible signal to stop. Whether you can obey, adapt, and move when your mind has already started bargaining for an exit. Most don't make it. You do. And then you realize Hell Week wasn't the end of anything. It was just the part everybody talks about. The rest of BUD/S strips away whatever illusions survived. Dive phase, underwater navigation, combat swimming, pool competency, then land warfare, weapons, small unit tactics, demolitions, breaching. Every phase is another opportunity to fail. Every mistake tells the instructors something about how you'll behave when the stakes are real. Then comes SEAL qualification training. More than half a year of advanced instruction that turns you from a survivor into something operational. Jump school, SERE, tactical movement, weapon systems, mobility, infiltration. Operating across desert, jungle, Arctic, urban terrain. By the time you finish, more than a year has passed since you first raised your hand and said you wanted this. Now you earn the Trident. Gold on your uniform. A symbol almost everyone recognizes and almost no one understands. Level 3, the new guy. You report to a SEAL team and discover that earning the Trident only got you through the front gate. Now you're the least experienced man in the room. The FNG. Everybody around you has deployed. Everybody around you has stories they don't tell. You're attached to a platoon of 16 men, and from the moment you arrive, the message is clear. Nobody cares what you survived in training. The team only cares whether you can carry your weight now. The workup begins. Months of drills, rehearsals, live fire runs, close quarters battle, communications, interdictions, movement under pressure. You repeat everything until it becomes reflex. Not because repetition is elegant, but because hesitation gets people killed. Then comes deployment. Iraq, Ramadi, night raids, breaching compounds at 2 a.m, hunting bomb makers, facilitators, men whose names were on lists before you ever landed in country. The first time you take fire, there is no room for reflection. Your training either appears on command or it doesn't. Left, right, high, low, angles, sectors, speed. The platoon moves like one nervous system because it has to. You come home different and already a little quieter. People ask what it was like. You tell them it was fine. You don't mention the shrapnel, the confusion, the compounds with families inside, the split-second decisions in darkness where you had to identify a threat before the threat identified you. You don't mention how quickly violence becomes procedural. Or how hard it is to explain that to people whose hardest decision all week was what to order for lunch. You stay in. You deploy again, and then again, and after a while you notice something. Certain men in the team room carry themselves differently. They leave with no details, return with no stories. Their names are spoken carefully, if they're spoken at all. Nobody explains it to you directly. They don't need to. The rumour travels on its own. There's another ladder above this one. Level 4, Team Operator. By your third deployment, you're no longer the new guy. Younger SEALs watch how you move. You're trusted on target. You've spent years proving you can perform under stress, recover fast and stay dangerous without becoming reckless. That combination matters. Afghanistan this time. More responsibility, more pressure, less room for error. You're not just following the machine now, you're helping keep it running. That's when your platoon chief pulls you aside and says the thing you've been thinking about for years. You should put in a package for DEVGRU. He doesn't say SEAL Team 6. Nobody serious says SEAL Team 6. He says Development Group. The requirements are brutal even before selection starts. Multiple deployments, strong evaluations, security eligibility. A record that shows not just competence, but judgment. There are plenty of SEALs who can shoot, swim, and suffer. Fewer can do all of it while staying calm, disciplined, and trusted by everyone around them. You submit the package. Months pass, then the call comes. They want to interview you at damn neck. 3 operators sit across from you with your entire life on paper. Bud/S performance. Deployment history, evaluations, reports, commendations, mistakes. They ask about missions from years ago, decisions made under pressure, weaknesses you thought were private, habits you thought didn't matter. They want to know how you think, how you fail, how you recover, how you carry stress, and whether other men would want you next to them when everything starts going wrong. Because that's the standard now, not good enough for a SEAL team, good enough for the place the best SEALs are trying to reach. You pass the interview. Barely, maybe. Then comes more screening. Physical, psychological, performance under scrutiny. You thought you were in shape before. You thought you were resilient before. This process corrects both assumptions immediately. A few weeks later, you get invited to Green Team. Now it gets personal. Level 5. Green Team candidate. Green Team is not a reward. It's a verdict waiting to happen. 6 to 8 months of advanced selection and training designed to answer one question. Can you operate at Tier 1 without becoming a liability? Out of a full class, a large chunk will get cut. Not because they quit. Not because they fail to meet the standard. The first thing you notice is how little room for imperfection exists here. In the regular teams, high performance matters. Here, precision matters more. You train in kill houses, firing at close range under intense stress where one hesitation, one bad angle, one sloppy movement tells instructors you may not belong. You learn advanced breaching, high-risk entries, mobility, lock work, close quarters problem solving, and the kind of violence that has to be exact because there is no margin for collateral chaos. The instructors watch everything: safety, tempo, judgment, adaptability, ego. A man can be physically exceptional and still get sent back if he moves like he wants to impress people instead of survive with them. That's what makes Green Team different. It isn't testing whether you're hard. By this point, everyone is hard. It's testing whether your discipline can keep pace with your talent. Most men who start will not make it. You do. And with that, the entire scale of your career changes. Level 6. Tier 1 Assaulter. Now you're in DEVGRU. The missions are different. The tempo is different. The silence around the work is different. At a regular SEAL team, deployment is intense, but cyclical. Here, the cycle never really ends. Training, alert, deployment, mission, reset, repeat. Over and over until your body starts keeping score, even when your mind refuses to. You operate in places the public will never hear about and under conditions that will never be fully described. Hostage rescue, direct action, high-value targets, sensitive sites, countries where America officially isn't doing much of anything while you're there kicking in a door at night. Some missions are over in minutes. Others go sideways and stay that way for hours. You lose teammates, you miss funerals, birthdays, anniversaries, entire chapters of your own life. Relationships collapse because secrecy is not just an inconvenience at this level, it is a wall. You cannot explain where you've been, why you're exhausted, why you wake up ready to move before you're even fully conscious. The work consumes language first, then sleep, then whatever remained of normality after your regular SEAL years. From the outside, this is the peak. From the inside, it feels like living inside a machine that only asks one question: can you do it again tomorrow? And the answer is always yes, until it isn't. Level 7. The Team Leader. After years at DEVGRU, you're not just hitting targets anymore. Now you're running elements of the mission, planning, calling, deciding. Other operators look to you the way younger SEALs once looked to the men you wanted to become. This is the top of the ladder, and it is not glamorous. You are around 40 now. Your knees are wrecked. Your shoulders click. Your back hurts before the day starts. You've spent so long living at operational speed that normal life feels slow, distant, maybe even fake. But the real damage is harder to show. It's the accumulation. Years of pressure, years of classified loss, years of decisions that had to be made instantly and remembered forever. When the call comes in the middle of the night, you answer it. Not because it's easy, because after 15 years of being shaped, tested, sharpened, and stripped down, this is what you are now. A man who can function in the dark at the edge of acceptable risk while carrying a weight that would crush almost anybody outside the system. Somewhere in America, a kid is filling out an application, imagining the Trident, the missions, the brotherhood, the elite status. They have no idea what the ladder really takes. First, it takes comfort, then certainty, then time, then your body, then whatever part of you still belong to normal life. That's what this ladder is really built to do. Not just identify the best, transform them into something useful, use them hard, and keep climbing until the mission no longer needs what's left. Some ring the bell in week 2, some wash out in Green Team, some make it all the way to Tier 1 and stay there until their joints give out or the job finally takes too much. But everybody who steps onto this path learns the same truth eventually. The cost of being the best is everything else.